So factor if possible. So we want to factor these three expressions here if that is possible, because there might be some times where you're going to get a question where there's nothing to do, so that could be a trap, so got to be careful. Now in these cases, the first thing you always got to worry about is, do you have anything in common for the terms that you're dealing with? Is there any greatest common factor? All right, so that's when we have the concept of GCF, okay? So that is GCF, greatest common factor. Okay, so do we have anything in common for 4? And of course we have an invisible one here in front of A, and also of course we have an invisible one here as the power. So do we have anything in common for 4 and 1? Actually it's 1, but we don't need it, we're not going to put it. Okay, what about A squared and A? It's going to be A because you see A in common for those two terms. Not only that, ladies and gentlemen, a tip very quickly. Anytime you're dealing with A to the second and then A to the 1, whichever is the smallest power is always going to be your greatest common factor. Again, whichever, when it comes to the variables, has the smallest power is always the one with the greatest, which is going to be the greatest common factor. So then we divide everybody by A. So we have A power 1, A power 1. So here, so we got to bring down the 4 because we said we're not going to pull out the 1, so the 4 is going to be brought back. Now, when you divide A to second power and A, what's happening? You subtract the power. So when you divide variables, you subtract the power. So that'd be 2 minus 1, that gives you 1. All right? Or just 4A. Plus, here, A1 divided by A1, anything divided by itself will give you what? 1. Always. 2 divided by 2 is 1. Okay? 10 divided by 10 is 1. 2025 divided by 2025 is going to give you 1. Y divided by Y is 1. Ladies and gentlemen, you have finished in this case. You can just take off the 1. You don't need it. And you're done. All right? So now let's go to the second question here. So we have 9b to the 4th minus 3b to the second power. The question again is, what do you have in common for these two terms? That's the main question. So once we get here, what's happening then? Coefficients, 9 and 3. What do you have in common for those two? It's going to be 3 because 3 can go into 9 3 times, and 3 can go into 3 once. You see what we're doing here? So 3 is going to be a common factor for the numbers. Now, when it comes to the variables, so we have b to the 4th and b to the 2nd. Per what we say over there, b 4th, b 2nd, which one is smaller? Is b to the 2nd. Automatically, that will be your greatest common factor. So that's our tip here, okay? So pay attention to that. So now we got to divide by the greatest common factor, which is 3b to the 2nd. For the first one, and then 3b to the 2nd for the second one. All right? This just, makes your life a lot easier. But if you become an expert, you don't want to do that, that is fine. So let's go for it. 9 divided by 3 is going to be what? 3. B to the 4th divided by b to the 2nd is going to give you what? B to the 2nd, because 4 minus 2 is 2. Then minus 3 out, b to the 2nd divided by b squared, second, 1, because anything divided by itself is 1. Ladies and gentlemen, you are finished with this one too. All right? Then we go to the third question here now. So what's happening? This one is 10 a to second power plus a b to second power a. So what's happening here? What do we have as greatest common factor here? So for the numbers 10 and 8, what's the number that can go into 10 and 8 evenly? And the biggest one, that's what the greatest common factor is. So that will give you 2, because 2 can go into 10 5 times, and 2 can go into 8 4 times. What about the variables? We have a to second power here. We don't have, so we have a here. We don't have b here, but we have b to second power. So b is not in common. So only a is going to be in common. All right, remember a to second and a. So whichever is the smallest one is going to be the greatest common factor, right? So now we can divide both of them by 2a and 2a. You see how we can make these problems easy, simple? So let's go for it. 2 goes into 10 how many times? 5 times. And 8 goes into 8 to second how many times? 8 times. All right? And then plus 2 goes into 8 how many times? 4 times. Okay? And then what happens after that? So b squared is back because you didn't use it. And then a crossed out because you're dividing. It's only one time. 1 times anything stays the same thing, ladies and gentlemen. You are also finished for this problem here. You are done. All right? Thank you.